Hi there, this is Mr. Franks, your student's 8th grade U.S. history teacher. I hope you're having a good virtual open house. Obviously, I want to make a short video here to kind of give you an overview of what's going on in 8th grade U.S. history, but there's probably so much more than I can speak to in a short video. So if there's anything you're ever curious about, don't hesitate to reach out. So let's go ahead and jump in. Right here on Google Classroom, this is where we're at just about every single day. You can always borrow your student's computer and get on their Google Classroom to see kind of what's going on day to day in U.S. history. I'll actually start, let me go up a little bit right here where it says warm ups and syllabus. Now, this came home at the beginning of the year, but it's a lot to remember. So I just want to mention it as a kind of a reference thing if you're ever curious about something I didn't speak about here, about grading and assessments and things like that. So that's always there for your viewing if needed. A word about expectations. Generally speaking, students are doing the right thing around here at RBJHS, but if there ever is a slip up, I use kind of three simple things, which is be kind, be respectful, and be invested to help redirect students to make the right choices. And that takes care of about 90% of things. Content overview. It's obviously U.S. history, 8th grade U.S. history. We can't cover every single remarkable and interesting story in U.S. history in a short, relatively short school calendar year, but we do cover a lot. To kind of give you a preview of what we've been doing, we're in our pre-revolution unit, which is kind of the lead up to the American Revolution, talking about the colonies first and then the causes of the American Revolution. And then our next unit coming up that will start next week is westward expansion. So we'll get into conversations about how the United States kind of expands west and adds different pieces to the country through acquisition and wars and things like that. But of course, we'll move on from the 1800s eventually as we get into the second semester and start looking more at stuff in the 1900s, including the World Wars and beyond. So it's kind of your typical American history survey course. And speaking of units, typically each unit is going to have two major assessments. One's going to be a content recall test, where students are going to be asked to write short written responses to the content we've been learning daily in class. So like one looks like this from the pre-revolution quiz. One example of a question is compare and contrast New England colonial region with the Southern colonial region. What is similar? What is different? So stuff like that. The other assessment that we'll typically see in our units is something that's a little bit more skills based. So it might be asking students to write a constructed response that answers the question and using evidence to back up claims. And it might be a project, it may be a debate, something along those lines. But each unit will have about two assessments. I think in this short video, I probably have covered what I need to cover. Actually, there's one more thing, kind of day-to-day, daily U.S. history, what it looks like. Each day when students come in, they'll have a warm-up that they'll respond to, and they'll write down what's called a DLT, which is a daily learning target. They'll respond to a question that reviews or previews something, and then they'll also write down their homework. And then right afterwards, let me get back down to it, they'll be here on Google Classroom as kind of our guide, and we'll kind of have the instructional component first, where we'll take about 5 to 10 minutes to go over whatever we're talking about via slideshows or videos or whatever the case may be. And then typically we transition into a workshop format where students are going to be kind of working at their own pace, either by themselves or partners or in groups. And I'll be circulating the room to help them as they work at their different paces and help them with their different needs or whatnot. And typically the activities we're doing daily is having students looking at primary sources, secondary sources, looking at additional videos or whatever the case may be to help them further learn the content that we're after. So anyways, I hope this video was helpful to you to give you an overview of what's going on in 8th grade U.S. history. If there's anything that you're curious about, please don't hesitate to reach out to me over email. If you're curious about something, you need help with your student, whatever the case may be, please don't hesitate to reach out. My email is all lowercase bfranks@rb60.com. So I hope you're having a good virtual open house, and I hope to meet you in person sometime soon. All right, take care.